Welcome back in Chicago Fire Weekly, presented by the Private Bank. We are live at the Heineken Pub 97 at the Private Bank Fire Pitch. Fred Hubner, Paul Tenorio, also Frank Lopez, and on the end of the couch, a guy that actually scored a goal the other day. That's right, Matt Polster, his first goal of the season. Matt, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Can you get Matt to smile? Because I think you almost had. There you go. I'm so happy to see Matt smiling.
He was smiling on Saturday after the goal.
I would too.
I thought he was going to land on Dax because he was like, he went for the hug and then he thought, no way, I need to jump before I do the hug. He got the jump in last second.
I was going to jump and then Dax jumped. It was just, it landed. It was perfect when it finished, but I was a little worried myself, actually.
You got to get that coordinated,
Matt, talk a little bit about home. It was good for the team to come home, but it just seems like it's a different team that we see a little bit at home. Talk about that confidence and how playing in front of the home fans, what that does to you guys when you come out on that pitch.
Yeah, I mean, we had a sold-out crowd, if I'm not correct. So, I mean, to have that kind of atmosphere, I think the guys were up for it. Obviously, it showed with the win. But it was tough, obviously, coming off that break and having those two quick losses back-to-back. And that hurt us, but we knew coming home, we knew we needed to win, but we know we're also good at home and we're confident here. So I wasn't very surprised about how we responded.
Yeah.
Matt, coming out of that Gold Cup break, it was two very difficult games on the road. NYCFC, always a tough place to play. Small pitch, good team this year. Sporting Kansas City, historically one of the most difficult road games. And you're coming off of a big layoff. How tough was it to get through those games? And then what was the discussion like around the team after the Sporting Kansas City loss to try to get things back on track this past weekend?
Yeah, I think if we start with the New York City FC game, it was tough. I think everything just played out, and coming off the break, they played the game before against Toronto, so they were a little bit, not in terms of fresh, but they're getting back into it. They're now in the second game against us, and we're now playing our first game, so it's not easy after a break to get the legs going again. So I think that played a factor, and then going to Sporting, like you said, is a tough place to play, and they're a very good team, well organized. And the discussion after amongst the team was more that we knew we needed to bounce back, and we did, and now we need to look forward to the next game against Columbus and do the same thing away from home.
Matt, there are guys that play the right back position, not only in this league, but in a lot of leagues where they don't get the opportunity to go forward. Maybe their team doesn't play that style. How much do you like the position you're in, and also how exciting is it to actually have that possibility of going forward like you have been since you've taken the spot?
Yeah, the coaching staff has told me to play more as a midfielder in that type of position. They've given me the freedom to roam a little bit, per se. Obviously, I'm not going to the other side of the field, but I'm able to go high, I'm able to drop deep and get the ball, or go even inside and pick the ball up. So they've given me a lot of freedom, and that's definitely given me confidence to play well, honestly.
How much does it help having guys like Dax McCarty and also Schweinsteiger? Because if you watch the game from the press box or the stands or on TV, you see that anytime you go up, or if it's Patrick Doody or Brandon Vincent, that McCarty and Schweinsteiger are always good at dropping back into those spots and helping out. Yeah, I think the way it's set up is that we're supposed to go high, so that gives them more space to dictate the play and possession and the tempo of the game. And when they get on the ball and they're able to turn and look forward, they have a lot more options now, and it makes it easy on everybody. So
the goal on Saturday made two other young players in this league look a little bit silly. Fagundes gave you the inside, didn't think you were going to cut it in. And then Cody Cropper, I saw you posted your goal on social media, and the poor goalkeeper that you scored on was like, what are you doing to me, man?
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to comment, honestly, and he did. So we made up a little bit on social media. Next time we see each other, I'll take him out to dinner. But yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good goalkeeper. I'm just happy I scored.
When you got on that ball and you cut inside, I mean, how quickly did you see that back post open and decide, I've got this angle?
Pretty quick, honestly. My original choice was to pass it back. I don't know who necessarily, but when Fagundes kind of cut that out and let me go inside, it just opened up, and I felt like I was going to score once I hit the ball.
That's what I initially thought, because when Fagundes, I think, have challenges for that ball, and the ball comes inside. I mean, you get your head up, and then you see the back post, and then for me, it's the execution, because it's extremally difficult. I know you posted on, but I think you got to tell Cropper there's no way you can make that save.
Well, it was like the Dempsey goal in the Gold Cup around the free kick wall. Matt had already started running in his celebration before the ball hit the net, so that's how you know it's a good one.
Yeah, once it came off the foot, I knew it was going to be a goal.
Yeah, that's what me and Dan Kelly almost fell off because I said, what a great finish, you know?
Well, Matt, you've got another big game like you alluded to coming up this weekend against Columbus. Always a rival. There's probably going to be a big contingent of Fire fans going there. They've been kind of up and down, but they are always dangerous, and they're winger-driven, which means defensively you're going to have some tougher matchups. What do you see in this team that makes them dangerous, and how do you go about preparing for a guy like Kekuta Mane, who can play outside but also recently has liked floating inside, making it difficult for the fullback?
Yeah, they have a lot of good players, like you said. I think the main thing is to use possession as more of a weapon for us. When they struggle a little bit when they don't have the ball, I think everybody does in general, but to prevent Kekuta Mane getting on the ball or for guys getting forward high and wide that can create good chances for them is to keep the ball as much as we can and impose ourselves as much as possible in that game.
Matt Polster, nice enough to join us here on Chicago Fire Weekly. We come back, we'll talk more about the Fire. They gear up for a game this coming Saturday as they are at Columbus, a 6:30 start. Catch the pregame at 6 o'clock on CSN+. Don't forget, next Wednesday against Montreal, and then it'll be a big match Saturday, August 19th. They're all big. Chicago Fire taking on Toronto FC. The game presented by Valspar. Get your tickets at chicago-fire.com/tickets. More after this. Chicago Fire Weekly presented by the Private Bank. Welcome back in. Chicago Fire Weekly presented by the Private Bank. Having some fun with Matt Polster of the Chicago Fire. We'll get to some more of that fun in just a minute, but I want to ask you a question. I was watching the game, as everybody was, a sellout crowd, watching the game on TV, and there was a play late in the contest, I want to say, with Lamson, where he cleared the ball across the crease and to you. And how tough is it with the relationship? Because you guys are playing the ball out of the back quite a bit. I mean, the long goal kicks don't happen nearly as much as they used to. Pano's never been a believer of those long goal kicks. He loves playing out of the back. How difficult is that for you to, I mean, you were a midfielder, but is it any different playing the right back position?
No, like you said, I think the what we built, the culture and how the style that we're trying to play is we're going to put ourselves in tough positions sometimes, and I think we all have the confidence on the field that we're going to get out of that situation. So when Lamson plays me a tough ball, it's more of just deal with it and try and get out of that type of situation. And I think the team has done really well in that and is taking that on.
I think there were a lot of coaches that were cringing at that pass, if I can be honest, including one that was in the booth when Lamson played him that short ball under pressure. But especially in a game where you're leading.
Right.
But that's part of the life as a fullback. You're going to be under pressure at times, especially when a team needs a goal. They're going to high press, and you've got to be able to work your way out of it.
Well, and you trust the technical ability of your players, you know. Now that I saw him with the outside of the foot make that kind of finish, I want to tell Matt, just keep playing him.
You
put him in tough situations.
You don't play that ball to just anybody, but if you're a YAM, you play it to a YAM 100 times out of 100.
Yeah. Yes, you do. Yep. Yeah.
You got to explain. So YAM is, what we got going on?
So amongst the group right now, YAM stands for Young Americans. And to just like rattle some names off of in this group is myself, Johnny Campbell, DJ, Drew Connor, Duty, Brant Bronico, a.k.a. Red Dragon. That's another story we can get to later. And Steph Cleveland, and a couple others. And we have some retired or alums of the YAMs as well. So, but it's just a lot of personalities, a lot of fun, a lot of banter, and we're actually now creating an Instagram account. So if you want to give it a follow, please do. It's called YAM_squad. So we haven't had any posts yet, but we will get to that. It'll be really fun. It's gonna be a good time.
All right, with the YAMs.
And then we got a Ram here.
Right now, we're Rams right here.
We're creating it all now. We're recreating it all.
Old Americans.
Yeah, old Americans, right. Paul's trying to figure out one for himself. You want to repeat that one?
No. That one stays off there.
Okay.
That one stays off there.
Just about what you're talking about, the camaraderie. I mean, is it a little easier? I know there's camaraderie the last couple of years before this, but is it easier having camaraderie like this with all the young guys when you're winning?
Yeah, of course. I think winning sparks the fun. When you get into training, you're able to joke about and have a little bit more banter and make fun of guys, and guys make fun of you, and it just creates a good culture, and you get tighter as a group. And I think that's showed a lot in in recent games and throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think also we're seeing this Fire team. I mean, we talk a lot about kind of the veterans that have been brought in and how important that was, but there also are a lot of younger guys, and I wonder your influence just a few years into your professional career, but when you're dealing with guys like Georgie or DJ, kind of how even having a group like this might help them feel more comfortable in their transition to pro.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's something I struggled with my rookie year. There wasn't many younger players that were on our team, and it was more, and the guys that signed were Duty, Colin, myself, and Kingsley, if I'm not mistaken. So it was only 4 guys, and now we have like 10, it feels like, you know, and we have a group, and we like to go out, we like to have fun, and like I said, it's a really good time, and a lot of banter is being had. So
what has it been like for you in MLS, you know, as a younger American player, to see the changes the league has gone through, and especially now moving to defense? We've seen a lot of young attacking talent come into the league. Have you seen, even in 3 seasons, the level of play improve as a player?
Absolutely. I think obviously bringing in international players and guys like Schweinsteiger definitely raised the level, but bringing in young guys as well and allowing them to get minutes and pushing them forward and trying to give them confidence and seeing them play well. Like one guy off the top of my head, Tommy Thompson's playing really well, and he's a young guy, and the coaching staff seems to really like him and want him to do well, and look what's happening, you know.
Do you get encouragement when you see guys like Tommy, like Kellen Acosta, yourself, not just playing with your club team, but getting recognized? Bruce Arena putting you on the 30-man roster for the Gold Cup. Kellen all of a sudden getting a bigger role with the national team. That, you know, maybe those younger American players are growing within this league and maybe getting more opportunity. Yeah,
I think it's now guys are realizing it's more possible to. It's not just a league where they're bringing in big international players. Like, you can make it in this league as a young player and a young American player. I mean, it is possible, and you're seeing that more often now.
Oh, no, that's the one thing. You talked about how the league has changed, and then in Matt's situation, I think is a guy that's played all the time. But when you look at a guy like Patrick Duty, you know, the ability now to send him to a USL team and be able to get minutes, valuable minutes, where he's able to play at a high level, and then the team brings him back, and then you see what that does. You know, how has that benefited some of the American players and their growth and their development?
Yeah, I think it's different for everybody. Like you said, I kind of started playing off the bat, and I appreciate Frank Yallop at the time giving me all those opportunities and all that confidence to play. And on the other side, you have Patrick, who got loaned out quite a bit and still stuck with it and still kept grinding, and it's paid off. After this game, you have to think he's done really well so far through the 2 games that he's played.
That's where I've seen, I think, that the league, has grown so much in a short time.
Yeah. We're going to see some invites handed out now, I'm sure, to Tommy Thompson and Kellen and all the YAMs out there.
We'll be giving shout-outs to all the YAMs. Everybody's a YAM. Well, kind of.
That would be nice. Matt, good luck this weekend. I know 3 games in 8 days, never easy, but you got to get the first one against Columbus first. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Matt Polster from the Chicago Fire. They're right back as they get ready to take on the Columbus Crew SC this coming Saturday in Columbus. Don't forget the Fire return home coming up on the 19th against Toronto FC. We come back, we'll talk more, as we always do. We'll take a look at some of the good things that happened on the pitch, on the field, as the Chicago Fire knocked off New England 4-1. You're watching Chicago Fire Weekly, presented by the Private Bank.